Welcome to Scrunchy Time. I'm Nicole Hegsted, your fertility advocate. After 6 years of infertility and 3 miscarriages, I decided that I needed to become the advocate for my own body. If you're exhausted from struggling to get pregnant and want to know more about how I can help, check out my website at www.nicolehegsted.com.
And I'm Bridget May, your children's health expert. My son was born with a heart condition that led to 3 open heart surgeries, cath labs, a tracheostomy, and a ventilator. After being fed up with mixed opinions, I became my children's own advocate. If your child's health is lacking, then check out my website at www.bridgetmay.com to find out more how I can help. Put your hair up and pay attention while we discuss today's hottest topics concerning female hormones and healthy kiddos.
We aren't silky.
We aren't crunchy. We're scrunchy. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Scrunchy Time. So today we want to talk about the flu shot. We really want to just really empower everyone and educate them on what it is, why they give it out, and what we have seen from personal experiences, and just give our feedback and our thoughts. So we really want to come at it as a perspective of to empower you, and you go make your choice. So everyone has to make their own decisions, but you can't walk blindly into a doctor's office and just say yes and hope everything's going to be okay. So that's why we're here. So Nicole's going to take it away and get us started.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, and to me the most important thing to recognize when it comes to the flu shot is that it isn't guaranteed to work. And the reason it isn't guaranteed to work is because when they're developing the flu shot for this year, they pick a strain that they think is going to be popular in as a contagion, and that people will get mostly. And they put that strain into the flu shot, and then that's what you get vaccinated against. The problem is they're usually wrong. Like I don't remember the statistics, but it's really low. I think that like 1 year out of every other, like out of however long they've been doing the flu shot, it was like 1 year that they guessed right, and like nobody got sick that year. That was it. Like it's always been wrong.
Well, and on top of that, I just want to add, they know early on, oh, we got this wrong. They know in like September, early October, and yet they're still in November and December saying, did you get your flu shot yet this year?
Yes.
Just throwing that out there too. Like they blatantly admit it's wrong, but here, have it anyway.
Right, yes. Yep. And I remember that when I worked at the hospital, it was really like, there were people still getting flu shots, and they were still like, well, we picked the wrong strain this year, and it was like, wait, why are we doing this? It makes no sense whatsoever.
No, it makes,
Yeah. So the other issue for me is the high content in mercury that you're going to be getting in the flu shot. I believe it's one of the biggest mercury containing vaccines. It's really huge. And so just as we wouldn't play with the mercury out of a thermometer, we shouldn't be injecting it into our bodies. It's just my personal belief. I know that the nasal spray comes without mercury. However, Bridget has a couple statistics on that.
Yeah, so it's not near as effective. We've actually been in our pediatrician's office, and they won't even like give it to you because they're like, yeah, that doesn't work. So they won't even offer it. I mean, probably if you really, really pushed for it, but of course I never did. So they're just like, yeah, no, we don't do that.
So what makes me really mad about that now that you told me that tonight, is I used to work at a hospital, as you know, but our listeners probably don't know that. And when I did, it was required to get the flu shot every single year, or else if you were within 10 feet of a patient, you had to wear a face mask. And I refused because my grandfather actually died because of a flu shot. I'll share that later on. But everyone in my family refuses the flu shot because we have this history. And so I refused the flu shot, decided to wear the mask, but every single one of my coworkers was getting the nasal spray. And so now to find out that it doesn't even work, and that the hospital should know that it doesn't work, but they aren't required to wear the face mask, but I am. Like if I had just gotten the nasal spray, which apparently does nothing, What?
Well, you don't know what else is in the nasal spray either. I would not condone the nasal spray just because it don't work. Just making that disclaimer. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's just like, but it doesn't work either. So
Right.
I'm required to do this thing because those masks are really like, it's really hard to breathe in, and you're like,
Oh, they're horrible. Oh, I had a medical kid for 2.5 years.
yeah,
I know what
you know, yes, it's bad. It's so bad.
they're horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when the doctors won't even wear them into your room, you know they're bad.
Yes. Well, it's hard because you're like trying to talk, and
Mhm.
like, oh, yeah.
Well, and it's you're like you can feel like it's like loose cotton and like dust and stuff in there. I think they have some kind of powder on them. It's slipping my mind right now, but and you feel yourself breathing that in. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And then you start sweating, and yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah,
It's
horrible.
I actually broke the rules quite a bit and didn't wear it as much as I was supposed to,
who doesn't?
I don't work there
And
anymore,
you're still here to tell the tale.
Yep. Exactly. Oh,
yeah, no, and that's I refused the flu vaccine ever since ever since I can remember. Like I just remember in my teens being like, you get a shot for what? Why?
right?
Like you want to poke a needle in me talking from a person, fear of needles over here. But like still, nope, not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, and the thing too is these are bugs that we've been getting every year. Like this is stuff like you're gonna get sick, you're gonna throw up a little bit, you're gonna get the chills, you're gonna get all the things.
Yeah.
But like we're gonna live. It's not one of those things where it's something that you're going to die from, and there are people that die from the flu, and I understand that, but usually there's something else going on.
Yeah, there's an underlying problem. Your immune system isn't well.
Yeah.
Like if there is no reason why any healthy person shouldn't be able to fight off the stuff, a lot of the things we get vaccinated for. Honestly, I'm just going to throw that out there. I've done my research, and it's just it's crazy, and it's good for us because, as we've talked in previous podcasts, once you get a bug, you don't get it again.
Mm-hmm.
So why aren't we wanting to get this? Why aren't we wanting to get a little sick? You get it now, next time you're not going to get sick as bad, or not at all, or whatever. And there's just no point to be injecting ourselves with toxic chemicals of the highest level. And I even know they say too, I'll bring that up, they say it's safe for pregnancy and everything. Please do not get this when you're pregnant. There are multiple links in studies and researches linking getting the flu vaccination and Down syndrome. Like absolutely just happens. Like it's not negotiable. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I know multiple cases of that personally as well. And it's just not worth it. It's something I am totally for, like what's do the benefits outweigh the cons. I'm totally down for that, but this is just something that is not worth it at all. Yeah. There's just no reason for it whatsoever.
Well, and like you were saying too, there's so many diseases now that we can fight off. It's not one of those things where we aren't living 200 years ago where if we get dehydrated, we're going to die. Like you go to the emergency room and they put you on an IV with fluids, like it's not something that's a problem today. Like it just,
there's so much of that. We're so knowledgeable. Sorry, I kind of interrupted you, but we're so knowledgeable. We know what the body is doing. Like things that, they died of something. You don't hear that anymore. Like we know why the body does what it does. We know how to fight cancer. We know how to, XYZ. We know the body needs nutrition. We know all these things, but yet we treat it as if it's still this big mystery. Yeah. And I don't understand that. Yeah. I don't at all. But as long as we know so much of what the body exactly needs for a good immune system, but yet we say, oh, I don't know, here's a vaccine.
And as a layperson, we know, like 200 years ago, people didn't understand to wash their hands before they ate, like we understand bacteria, we understand, like our wound should not be red and puffy and oozing pus, like we understand these things that like, okay, we need to seek medical help. So, and you're going to know that by listening to your body of like, this is just a regular bug that I'm going to be able to fight off, or I need to go in, I need help. So Yeah, it really is an industry that feeds off of fear and fear mongering, and it 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 makes us do things that we normally wouldn't do because we're scared of the consequences. And in the end, the consequences aren't as big of a deal as what they make it out
Yep.
to sound like. So, and actually, the consequences can be worse. So now's a good time to talk about my grandfather.
Yeah, go ahead.
My grandfather had a disease called myasthenia gravis, and it's a neurological disease. So it lies in the nervous system, and it started out because he would start slurring when he would talk, and basically his tongue was not working correctly. And it's because it would attack his muscular system. And the biggest problem he had is when he would have an attack, he wouldn't be able to eat because he would literally choke on his food.
Mm.
Because of that, when he went in and he got his flu vaccination, the flu virus went into his nervous system and mutated and gave him a second nervous system disease called Guillain-Barré. And they were trying to figure out what was going on, and finally the doctor was able to diagnose him. And the doctor literally told my grandfather, you should never have gotten the flu shot because you have this neurological disease, and this will kill you. And he died when one, I forget which one does what, but one of the diseases works from the bottom up, and the other one works from the top down. And when they meet in the middle is when you die. And yeah, he died as a result of that. And my thing about that is I've had several nurses ask me, well, did he have myasthenia gravis when he got the flu shot? And I've said, yeah, he did. And they say, well, that's why. If you don't have it, then you should be fine. And I've said to each of them, the problem is no one asked him when he got the flu shot if he had a nervous system illness. And my problem isn't whether I know that if I have myasthenia gravis and I get the flu shot, it'll turn into Guillain-Barré. My problem is, what else do I have that you're not going to ask me?
Exactly.
And it's going to mutate into something else. That's my problem. That's my concern, is that I can't trust you as a medical professional to look out for my benefit. And so I have to look out for my benefit and make that choice on my own. So I choose to abstain. And I'll tell you what, when I worked at the hospital and I was surrounded by everyone who was on taking their flu shots every year and all that stuff, I got sick 9 times in 1 year. In 2014, I got 8 different colds and 1 flu bug, the stomach bug, when I worked there. And the following year, when I moved away and I started doing some diet changes, and actually Bridget helped me with some of them, I've gotten a cold once since then. So since 2015, by the time this airs, that will have been 4.5 years ago, I have been sick once with a cold and once with a throw-up stomach bug. That's huge. That's lifestyle. That is way bigger. I am to the point now, it used to be that I could walk into a room and someone would say, man, I'm getting over something. And I would literally say out loud, thanks, I just got sick. And I'd go home and I would get sick. I'm at the point now where I went, the last time one of my coworkers was sick, they said, you probably shouldn't touch my keyboard because I have a cold. And I was like, I want to test this. I want to push the limits.
I remember this.
Didn't get anything, nothing. I got all up in her space. I was touching her keyboard. I was like, let's see. I didn't stick my fingers in my mouth afterwards, but I would have gotten sick 4 years ago. And now, from lifestyle and diet changes and everything that I'm doing, my immune system is what it's supposed to be. And I can be around someone that's sick and not get sick. And so I don't even need a flu shot. So, and wouldn't you rather have it that way? Wouldn't you rather have your body able to fight this off naturally?
Right. Well, yeah, and you brought up a good point too. I don't think we've talked about this yet. Along with that is that the flu vaccination is a live strand of what they think is coming. So you are literally injecting the flu into you. Here, get sick. And I know multiple people who, just because the doctor says they get their flu shot every year, and they come back sick, within a couple days they're sick. And especially, not quite in the case of your grandfather, but elderly people, their immune systems are already getting to the point of being compromised, and there you go. And they, because it's really pushed, the flu vaccination is really pushed amongst the older population and our children. Imagine that. Surprise, surprise. We push a flu vaccination on a 6-month-old baby. Like, I don't even understand that. Here, let's give your 6-month-old baby a flu vaccination, like the flu. Let's give them the flu, and then wonder why they have a compromised immune system in the first place.
Yeah.
Like that baby's much better off nursing, getting all the antibiotics in your breast milk, and you eating a healthy diet, just like Nicole was saying, and never get sick. I've had so many similar cases. I used to be the person, you could ask any one of my friends. I had a cold from October till May. I had a cold that never went away. And I realized the cold is totally different than the flu. But yeah, that's the immune system. That now I'm like, a cold?
Yeah.
So, it's our bodies are designed to fight. This is another common misconception, and I feel like this is a really good time to bring this up. Our bodies are not trying to kill ourselves. Our bodies are fighting for us. Our bodies want to live. God created us to live. He's given us what we need to do that. We don't need man-made intervention with horrible, horrible things in there to help us fight that.
Absolutely.
This is an everyday thing. It's our bodies. I hear it so many times, and I used to be one that said it. My body just hates me. No, your body doesn't hate you. You are mistreating your body. You are disrespecting your body. It's time to step up, and with all the amazing science we have had, see how God has created your body and how it is designed to naturally work in this world. I mean, I feel like I'm singing the circle of life here, but you know what I'm saying? Like we coexist. Everything is here for a reason. It is just a beautiful, beautiful creation that He has put us here in. It's just amazing.
Absolutely. I agree. Yes. Yeah. No, our bodies are not trying to hurt us, and they will heal themselves if given half a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So definitely do like your own research and everything. I feel like I come across like, just don't do it, but you do need to make your own informed decision on it. And obviously, we are both against getting the flu shot, but feel free to reach out to either one of us. We both have endless resources of other people we can get you in touch with as well to back up and all the research studies on anything and get you the information and the questions you have. And we'd love to hear your questions because we're still new and learning in this area as well. So would definitely love to hear anything you have and get you anything you need from us as well. So.
Absolutely. Yes. Always open to questions. Because of my experience with my grandfather, I've just kind of always been like, well, it killed my grandpa. I'm not doing it. And so actually, when we sat down to do this, I was kind of like, I don't really have a lot of factual evidence against why you shouldn't do this other than my personal family history. So yeah, like I love hearing questions and able to dig into that as well.
But that needs to be brought up too. A testimonial and personal experience is very important to me too, because like that's not always out there. Like that's real life. You can't take a lab test and put it in real life always. Absolutely. And we need to know things like that. I didn't know that. I didn't know like there's these diseases mix and then that kills you. Like I didn't know that. So that might save a life right there. You just never know. Yeah. So personal experience is everything.
Like for me, it trumps everything. Like I mean, you can sit here and tell me, and we can discuss any other vaccine, and as much as I'm against all vaccinations, we can sit here and discuss them, and I might be willing to bend on some of them, but I have a personal, emotional, family history tied to the flu shot. Like you can give me any fact as to why I'm wrong, it's not going to change anything because my grandfather died because of it. So yeah, like, and that isn't true of everyone because not everybody, like, I've had people look at me like, well, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I get it, but it's my family. I saw this happen. This is my personal story. So yeah, absolutely. Like personal stories are, they're not talked about a lot, but it can be, they're a big issue because that's where the exceptions happen. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us today. And like Bridget said, if you have any questions or want to reach out to us about that, feel free to do it. We're always open to hear from our audience. Otherwise, we will see you back in a couple of weeks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on today's podcast. If you'd like to know more about our programs or watch the podcast in video form, you can visit our websites,
where we also share links and resources concerning the different topics that we have discussed.
Check me out at www.nicolehegsted.com.
And check me out at www.bridgetmay.com. See you next time.